Welcome to the last video of section 6, NPCs and Quests. In the previous video we've learned about gun turrets and ammo. In this video we'll learn more about NPCs and Quests. NPC stands for non-player character and typically refers to any friendly or neutral characters other than the player-controlled character. In our adventure, level 3 should feature an NPC character standing outside their house, and they provide us with a quest, specifically to collect a gem item from level 2, which features many hazards including pits and gun turrets as we've seen. To create the NPC character, we'll simply duplicate the player and adjust the character colour, making them appear distinct. Thus, simply drag and drop the player prefab from the project panel to the level 2 scene and position it near the house area. Then remove all additional components such as the player controller and collider to return this character back to a standard sprite that is not player controlled. Now let's invert the character's X scale to make him or her face left instead of right. Select the parent NPC object as opposed to its constituent limbs, such as hands and arms, and invert its X scale. All child objects will flip to face the direction of their parent. We should also change the colour of the NPC from green to red to distinguish him from the player. Now, the character is a multi-part object composed from several sprite renderers. We could select each object and change its colour individually via the Object Inspector. However, it's easier to select all the objects and change their colour together. Unity 5 supports multi-object editing for common properties. The NPC should talk to the player on approach. This means that when the player approaches the NPC should display dialogue text. The text to be displayed varies depending on the status of their quest. On a first visit, the NPC will give the player a quest. On a second visit, the NPC will respond differently depending on whether the quest has been completed in the meantime. To start creating this functionality, we need to determine when the player approaches the NPC. This is achieved using a collider. Consequently, select the NPC object in the scene and then choose Component, Physics 2D, Box Collider 2D from the application menu. Size the collider not to approximate the NPC specifically, to approximate the area around the NPC in which the player should enter to have a conversation. Be sure to mark the collider as a trigger object, allowing the player to enter and pass through. At this stage, we need a GUI element to act as the conversation panel to display conversation text when the NPC speaks. This configuration simply consists of a GUI canvas object with a text object child. Both of these objects can be created from the application menu with Game Object, UI, Canvas and Game Object, UI, Text, respectively. The canvas object should also have a canvas group component attached using the component Layout Canvas Group menu option. This lets you set the alpha transparency for the panel and child objects as one complete unit. The alpha member can be changed from the Object Inspector. A value of 1 means fully visible, and a value of 0 means fully transparent. Excellent. We now have the ability, if we need to fade the panel in and out simply by animating the alpha value from 0-1 over time. However, we still need functionality to maintain quest information to determine whether a quest has been assigned, and to determine which text should be displayed in the conversation, based on the quest completion status. To do this, a new class must be created, questmanager.cs. This class will allow us to create and maintain quest information. Quest Manager maintains a list of all quests, quest. That is a list of all possible quests within the game, and not a list of only assigned or completed quests. The quest class defines the name and status for a single and specific quest. Any single quest can be unassigned, meaning that the player hasn't collected it. Assigned, the player has collected it but not completed it. And complete, the player has collected it and completed it. The getQuestStatus function retrieves the completed status of the specific quest. The setQuestStatus function assigns a new status to the specified quest. These are static functions, and so any script can set or get this data from any place. To use this object, create an instance in the scene, the first scene of the game, and then define all the quests that can be collected via the Object Inspector. In our game, there is only one quest available, the quest given by an NPC character to collect a stolen gemstone from level 2, the hazardous scene protected by gun turrets. This is how I configured quests to work with Quest Manager. Quest Manager defines all the possible quests in the game, whether or not they're collected by the player. However, the NPC still needs to assign the quest to the player on approach. This can be achieved with the script file questgiver.cs. This script file should be attached to anything that gives quests, such as the NPC. After attaching this script to the NPC, give the game a test by pressing the play icon on the toolbar. Approach the NPC, and the GUI text should change to the specified quest as defined for the quest name field for the quest giver component in the Object Inspector. This name should match quest name as defined in the Quest Manager class. The assigned quest is to collect a gemstone, but our levels lack a stone. Let's now add one for the player to collect. To do this, drag and drop the gemstone texture from the Project panel, Texture folder, to Scene 2 on the topmost ledge so that the player has to climb to reach it. A challenge. Be sure to attach a Circle Collider trigger to the object, allowing it to collide with the player. Finally, we'll need a quest item script to set the quest status on the Quest Manager class when the item is collected, allowing Quest Giver to determine whether the gem has been collected the next time the player visits. The quest item script should be attached to the gem object. This code is responsible for setting the quest status to completed when the gem, quest item, object is collected as the player enters the trigger volume. This happens through the Quest Manager class. Excellent work! You now have a completed, integrated quest system and an NPC character. This concludes the last video of Section 6. We've now completed the 2D adventure game. Some minor details were not covered in this section for the sake of clarity and conciseness because we've seen the methods or content already in earlier sections. Hence, it's important to open the course files and check out the completed projects, seeing how the code works. Overall, in having reached this far in this video course, you have 3 completed Unity projects to your name. In the next section, we'll wrap up everything that we've seen so far and get started on the grand finale, the final 4th project.